the University of Michigan, not exactly a conservative university. And we had 5,000 young people come out, and I was a little late getting out of the debates, and I got over there, and they waited, and it was a really enthusiastic crowd. But that is where, and I've told this story before, and it's in my little book, And the Fed, that's where the students started chanting, "And the Fed, and the Fed," and they started burning Federal Reserve notes. So I knew they were serious. And yet that interest in monetary policy continued to grow throughout the campaign, and it continues to grow even today. The Federal Reserve is a big issue, and it's bigger. How many people would have ever dreamed that even 2 or 3 years ago that we could poll the American people, and most of them would have an opinion, and 80% of them say that they agree with Ron Paul and we should audit the Fed? And because so many people woke up to this fact, and they knew it was significant and had something to do with our economy, and they were directing their attention in this manner, and then we had a bill to cling to, that we ended up getting so many American citizens to call their congressman. It wasn't me going around and talking to the congressman. There's nothing that I could do to persuade them. I have no political clout whatsoever. But the people had the political clout, and they had the determination. They went to their members of Congress, and we ended up, so far, even right now, we have 317 members of Congress who have signed on to that bill to audit the Fed. And because the support was so strong, when there was a banking bill, which the chairman of the banking committee, the financial services committee, permitted me to offer my amendment. Although it was a lousy bill, I did offer the amendment, and we passed it in the committee, and it went to the floor, and it's in that bill. So it's passed in the House. The Senate will have to act on it, and there will be a decision tomorrow. Unfortunately, it probably won't come out in our favor, because Jim DeMint and others have put a hold on the Bernanke reconfirmation unless they vote on auditing the Fed, which means that it's more like a filibuster. They have to get 60 votes in order to get the vote to the Senate floor because of this hold that he put on the bill, to require this vote on auditing the Fed. So we'll probably lose that. It doesn't mean it's over and done with in the Senate, and that still may come up. But it still has a ways to go. But the significant thing is they can't ever get rid of that issue anymore. I mean, it's out. Everybody knows about it. They know there's something very terrible going on in this country. And when you read and hear about how the Federal Reserve can create $1 trillion or a couple $1 trillion, and it's all off budget, and they won't even tell us what they do. I mean, it's an outrage. Geithner was before the committee today, and he was head of the New York Fed during this time when they wheeled and dealed and bailed out AIG and Goldman Sachs and all the banks at a dollar, 100% on a dollar. At the same time, Lehman Brothers was allowed to go bankrupt. So the American people know about this now. And no matter what they do to squelch us on the audit of the Fed, the Federal Reserve is going to remain an issue. The issue of money is going to be here because the financial crisis that we're in the middle of means the financial structure, all the investments in the banking system, has come unraveled, and all they're doing now is transferring the debt, the burden of debt from those banks and companies like AIG and Goldman Sachs, and they transferred all of these obligations to the taxpayers. So they were buying derivatives. That's what the Federal Reserve holds. They hold derivatives. They have no value, and yet there's still trust in the dollar. But the financial system is in a great deal of trouble. But everything that we do in Washington today is dependent on the creation of new money, because where are they going to get the money? The deficit right now that they admit to will be, $1.4 trillion this year. Are they going to tax you? I mean, where are the good jobs coming from? Good jobs have been disappearing for 10 years. The standard of living has actually been going down for 10 years. The average investment has been going down for 10 years. If you bought in the year 2000 and held on, you're down 20% on all average stocks. So there's no money out there to get. Of course, you say, well, just borrow more from China. Well, they're getting a little bit reluctant too. So they're obligated to create new money. So this idea of when they're going to unwind all that inflation of last year because they more than doubled the money supply, it's more like tripling the money supply. They're not going to withdraw that. Today, the Fed came out and they announced that interest rates are going to be held steady at like 0%, 0 to 0.5%. I mean, like it's nothing. And they said, well, they have one more trick up their sleeve. Now, you'd think they could figure this out, that it's not all that logical. They say, well, the banks won't lend. And we got to get them to lend. Well, they don't lend because they're cautious. They've been stung. There's people who don't want to borrow because they're reluctant. They don't know what Congress is going to do. What kind of taxes are they going to put on us? What kind of regulations are they going to put on us? So they are reluctant. Even the regulators are hesitant. The regulators come in and they don't want to be bad-mouthed against. All the regulators' fault. They made it too easy. So all this comes together. Nobody will move the money. The Fed pumps a whole lot of money into the system. They're holding this money. The banks are holding it. It won't move. There's no real recovery. So the trick that the Fed has up their sleeve that they want to try is charge the banks for holding it. So if you have money in the bank, it's like it's negative interest rates. So if they have $1 billion in the bank, they're going to charge the banks money for holding money in the bank. So they think, well, maybe then they'll loan it. And if they finally do that, all it will do is push money out into circulation, which is going to start raising prices and raising interest rates, and we will have inflation because we will have inflated prices because we've already had the inflation. The money supply has been increased, but people aren't just using it and circulating it.